Ralph Nader, thank you so much for joining us on your show.
You're welcome.
First question comes from Barb Aw, who says many Americans are hurting everywhere, especially economically. How do you feel that we can improve our economic forecast?
By expanding the public works program to repair all the things in your community that are falling apart, whether it's the lack of drinking water system upgrades, sewage treatment systems, improvement, schools, libraries, clinics, all the things, bridges, roads, public transit. And where do we get the money for this? By getting out of Iraq, by cutting the bloated, wasteful military budget that even people in the Pentagon have decried, and putting that money to create good jobs, good paying jobs in community after another that cannot be exported to China. The second is to bring the federal minimum wage up to where it would be if it was adjusted for inflation from 1968. And that would be the $10 minimum wage. And the third is full Medicare for all.
You mentioned the war in Iraq. We took a question from Timothy Smith, who's an Iraqi war veteran from Platteville, Colorado, who writes, why do so many politicians feel that it's imperative to remove ourselves from a country that we broke down and began to rebuild? If we left now, wouldn't you feel that we failed our mission and that that country would fall again?
The fact that we should, let's put it this way. We believe that the U.S. corporate and military withdrawal from Iraq will knock the bottom out of the insurgency and should be conducted in a 6-month period. That doesn't mean that we don't continue humanitarian aid. We have an obligation, as the veteran pointed out, to help rebuild Iraq because we have destroyed it. But it does mean that if we continue in this quagmire, we will give more and more reason for more and more attacks on our soldiers, more and more insurgency, more and more sectarian strife. The latest poll of soldiers in Iraq by Zogby that was conducted, a representative poll with the Pentagon's okay, in the field had 72% of the soldiers wanting the U.S. out of Iraq in 6 to 12 months, and that was in January 2006.
It seems that these days the conversation between the war and also sometimes even our energy policy are inextricably linked. And Becky Maitland writes in, saying our dependence on oil, mostly foreign, is both contributing to global warming, causing prices on everything to go up. Her question, how do you convince Congress to lead the way in promoting alternative fuels, even if they cost more, and also take the lead in conservation?
One is to do what they should have done 20 years ago and upgrade the mandatory fuel efficiency of the motor vehicles you buy and drive. We should be now driving motor vehicles with an average fuel efficiency of 50 miles per gallon. That's what the projection was by the Department of Transportation in the mid-'70s. But the auto industry lobby, unfortunately supported by the United Auto Workers, blocked it year after year after year. So we've got to improve the efficiency of the technology that is sold, heating systems, lighting systems, refrigerators, and so on, to the American people. As Benjamin Franklin once said, if I may paraphrase, a barrel of oil you don't waste is a barrel of oil you don't have to produce and sell. The second thing we have to do is recognize that the best form of energy we'll ever have comes from the sun in the form of wind power, solar photovoltaic, which is dropping in price, solar thermal, and proper biomass, not corn ethanol. And it is going to be around for 4 billion years. It cannot be embargoed by ExxonMobil or the OPEC countries. It doesn't get us in geopolitical trouble in other parts of the world, and it provides great opportunities for self-installation by homeowners and small business, solar energy.
You are here in Denver, as is the world's media, 15,000 members strong, here for the Democratic National Convention, you to promote your own campaign. Molly Morton asked a question that a lot of people are asking this week. Do you think Barack Obama has the necessary experience?
I think he has the experience, but I don't think he has the political fortitude. I think he's, by day and by night, surrendering to the demands of corporate power and corporate lobbyists. And those have been reported in the press. I don't think George W. Bush had any experience in Washington, and the country's suffering as a result. It isn't a matter of experience. It's a matter of how strongly you as a president want to stand with the people and for the people. Corporations should be our servants, not our masters. Government should be our servants, not our masters. That's the trait you want to look in a politician who wants your vote. How he's going to shift power to you as the people of the United States so that you can demand and achieve your demands from Washington and from Wall Street. I don't think he has that.
There are a lot of people here who we've been interviewing Republicans, and they're angry that we're talking to Republicans on the Democratic side, but there are also a number of people who are angry that we'd be even interviewing you in light of the fact that, and I know you've been asked this question a number of times, many Democrats blame you for the loss in 2004. I guess
not in 2004.
I'm sorry, in 2000.
You better rephrase it.
There are many people who do blame you for that loss, I guess, in 2000. Kind of walk me through your take on that now. Do you feel like you have anything to apologize for?
Of course not. If Gore picked up our issues, which polled very well, like living wage, raising the minimum wage, full Medicare for all, law and order against corporate crooks, he'd have landslided George W. Bush. But behind that statement against our role in 2000 is political bigotry. Why do we have to apologize for anything if we live in America where we all have an equal right to run for election? That means we all have an equal right to try to get as many votes as possible. That means either we're all spoilers of one another or none of us are spoilers. Having said that, if you ask Gore what happened in 2000, he'd say he won the election in Florida. He did win the national popular vote, but it was stolen from him in ways the reports have come in the media before, during, and after the election by Jeb Bush and Kathleen Harris and 5 politicians on the Supreme Court. We have to get over this spoiler business and just have a competitive democracy and give the American voters more voices and choices and let them register their response.
Ralph Nader, thank you so much for being on your show.
You're welcome.